Book review: My Fight, Your Fight, Ronda Rousey. So this has been out for quite a while. This book, but if you haven't read it, it's interesting. It's an interesting read. I think you'll probably prefer the book than you will the documentary Through My Father's Eyes. Which again is it's a documentary that's well worth a watch. It's just that documentary. I've reviewed the documentary for this channel already. My problem with that documentary was the guy, I cannot remember his name, former boxer who was the narrator and the host kind of thing of that documentary, was kind of coming across as a bit of a Ronda Rousey fanboy. This, you don't really get that so much with. It does go through some really interesting stories. It's amazing that someone could be, to me, I still find it amazing that someone could be a medalist at the Olympic Games, and then when they come back home, they've got to take a job as bar staff. I'm not knocking bar staff. I work with a lot of bar staff. I like bar staff. But the fact that you've just won a medal at the Olympic Games, you should now be, to me, you should now be making your living as a career teaching this, passing this on to people. I think if judo and the amateur wrestling styles looked after their competitive athletes a little bit better, you probably wouldn't see so many of them going into MMA. Not got a problem with it going into MMA. I like MMA. Ronda Rousey obviously did a very, very good job adapting judo for MMA. But you've got all these kind of purists within judo, certainly in Britain, and I imagine to an extent in America as well. It's only recently, in the last decade or so, that France has legalized MMA. Before then, if you were in France and you were a judoka, and it was found that you had been teaching judo techniques to somebody so they could compete in MMA, even if they were competing in MMA outside of the country, French judo would strip you of whatever grade you had, and you'd be banned for life. I think they changed that law, I'm going to say 2012, or maybe 2014. I think it might have been 2014 now to think about it, because it was 2014 because it was the Commonwealth Games in Britain. The judo was going to be sponsored by the UFC. French judo said, no, MMA is illegal in our country. You can't have judo sponsored by that. So the games held in Scotland had to say no thank you to the sponsorship of the UFC because of the French team. Personally, I think they should have turned to the French team and said, well, just don't show up then if you've got a problem with it. Because at that time, UFC is the number one company of the fastest growing sport in the world, MMA. The biggest star they had was Ronda Rousey, who, of course, bronze medalist at the Olympic Games. That would have got so many young girls and women into judo. It would have been amazing. And I think, from what I can see from different places, we do need to make more of an effort of getting younger people back into certain styles and systems. We do need to get more women into martial arts clubs. Obviously, there's the thing of it's nice to see women in martial arts clubs, but it's also the thing of the self-defense aspect. If you know that, if let's say you know that 50% of the women in a room are black belts in judo, you're less likely to want to try anything with them. Yeah? So if more and more women are getting involved in martial arts that work, you are going to see a difference with assaults and crimes. Going slightly off topic of the book review with this, it is worth getting. There's certain stories in here, like where they talk about she ditched school, she climbed over a fence. As she climbing over the fence, she twisted her ankle. Her ankle was absolutely knackered. Her mother then made her run laps on the damaged ankle as a way of showing her that the damaged ankle was just all in her head. It wasn't just all in her head. There actually was a physical problem with the fucking ankle. At one point, you go, yeah, well, I'm toughening you up. Kids today are too soft, and if you're going to be this world class competitor, you need to be. That was your child abuse. I'm not criticizing anyone's parenting skills. I don't have kids. I don't really get to say anything. But if your child has got a badly sprained or a broken ankle, and you make them run laps on that ankle, that's child abuse. Yeah. Why not just let the kid heal up and come back stronger and better than before? So by the time she hits 40, as soon as it rains, that ankle's just going to go, they'll be screaming at her. Anyway, I digress. There's a lot more stories like that. There's the stories of her having to turn up to an MMA club and just not giving her the time of day. She kept showing up and putting in the training, and nobody was actually walking her through any training as you're supposed to get. She was just having to see what everyone else was doing and pick it up as best she could. And then the head trainer went, "Yeah, okay, you keep coming back often enough. I'll train you now." Personally, me at that point, I said, "No, fuck off. You didn't like me before, just purely because she was a woman, by the way. That was all. It wasn't like everyone who came into the club had to prove, like the old Lions Den selection process before you got in the fight team. It wasn't that. It was purely, she's a girl. The guy running the club didn't think girls could fight, so no, I don't want you. I'd have picked somewhere else. But anyway, I digress. That's me. Doing what she did certainly worked for her. So again, if you like judo, if you like MMA, if you want the story of a rather pivotal, important figure in MMA, I would definitely check out Ronda Rousey's book.